this was something, I'll be honest, I meant to bring this up before we even start talking about, but something I've been thinking of since All In started. And I'm going to totally put you guys on the spot, and I feel a little bit bad about that, but not that bad. What would you guys say is your favorite non-WWE match of all time? Because I was thinking, like, All In's the biggest non-WWE show, maybe of all time now.
My favorite non-WWE match of all time, it would be WCW
that's
something. Man, that's tough. I mean, because the thing is, like, when you talk about matches in the WCW, like post NWO, like the NWO run, I mean,
it's not the in-ring
outside
quality.
of the cruiserweights, you weren't getting 5-star bangers.
To be fair, even during the NWO run, outside the cruiserweights, you weren't getting great matches.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant. I meant
Which
during.
makes me
like,
think of Eddie and Ray at
Halloween Havoc 96, 97.
Yep.
That Ray
match.
fit with the purple.
Yeah.
That's up there. I mean,
shout out to the guys I showed you that Shawn Michaels all over print shirt I got.
Yeah.
The white one, the same guy who did that just did a really cool, like very like cartoon Venom, like the cartoon-ish. I'll show it to you guys. Shirt where on the front it's got Eddie standing over Ray, like ripping the mask. And then on the back the Halloween Havoc logo is fucking.
Oh, that's sick. That is fucking sick. If I'm talking WCW, my favorite match. Again, you can go with the technical stuff, but as a kid, honestly, I didn't really give a fuck much about the technical stuff. I honestly still kind of don't. Like, that's why I'm not really an AEW guy.
That's fair.
Because, like, I don't need the spot fest and all that shit. Whatever.
That's what's great about wrestling is there's
exactly. You got something for everybody.
Yeah.
And I see, the thing is, AEW wasn't always like that. I feel like they kind of made their way that way.
It's like once Cody left.
With the bloating of the roster and whatever. I'm not going to go down that road. No tribalism here. But I think about like a match that I first think of when I think of outside of WWE was when Goldberg beat Hollywood Hogan in the Georgia Dome. Was it? That was on the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
On Nitro. I remember me and my brother watching it. We were absolute Goldberg marks.
The pop.
Crazy Goldberg marks. Hated Hollywood Hogan. And just the pop was insane. Hogan playing the chicken shit heel perfectly. Goldberg hitting him with that jackhammer. Like, seeing Hogan go up like that, you just never saw it. Nope. Hogan never took a bump like that. So seeing all that to me stands out as like a core memory outside of WWE for sure.
That's fair. The crazy thing about that match to me is the biggest proof that WCW cared more about winning the Monday Night rating than they did about the company as a whole.
100%.
They fucking just out of nowhere, no publicity.
Nothing. On a roll.
40,000 people into the Georgia Dome where you could have put a pay-per-view there and got like
I've heard so
triple the amount of money probably off of that.
So many people in the business say, like, Bischoff, like, what the fuck are you thinking? You left millions of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, cool. We're tuning in on Monday.
In the Georgia Dome.
Right.
Yeah, a Nitro in the Georgia Dome.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got Goldberg putting Hollywood Hogan up in a jackhammer.
As far as I know, they didn't pre-announce that match either. Like, that was announced night of.
Yeah.
Was
everyone
Hogan
was just
versus,
there knowing it's Atlanta. We want to see Goldberg. We're gonna see
and Goldberg was U.S. champion at the time.
Right.
So
they knew he would appear.
Right.
But like, you could have sold that thing out if you had just promoted it more. You put a pay-per-view there. You announced the main event's Goldberg versus Hogan for the title. That's easily an 80,000 seat sellout.
What is the term I'm looking for? The Goldberg revisionists. People out there. Calm down, okay?
Fuck you guys.
I know maybe the last decade hasn't been the best with Goldberg. Plus, his early, even this first WWE run, not great. But let's not pretend. Anybody that is a millennial age,
an enigma. That man was.
Come on, man. That Goldberg was can't miss television.
Absolutely.
He was the only person in WCW that could have went week to week against Stone Cold Steve Austin at that time. He was the only person hit that. And they fucked it up still because it's WCW. But that run up until the goddamn what was it, the stun gun?
At Starrcade '98
was amazing for a kid like me. I was 6-7 years old.
I had all the figures. I remember having the 12-inch Goldberg figure. It wasn't even like the regular one. It was like this big one. All the he probably kept WCW in business for at least another year solely off of all the shit he sold, all the merch he sold, all the things he was in.
Very ironic that I'm wearing like a Bret Hart inspired shirt. Shout out to Big Puck and off the rope. Killer Cam, Bret Hart collab here. Off the rope and Big Puck are the GOAT. But Goldberg was the shit, and like he has some of my favorite memories in wrestling history. I'm sorry.
Same.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
That match was when you said that was one of the first matches I thought of. That exact match. That was one of the first one WCW. I think if I'm going with one, it's Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega.
That's one
Wrestle
that's high
Kingdom.
up on mine as well.
I forget which Wrestle Kingdom.
11.
Number 11. That fucking match.
That's an incredible
and I was
match,
just like getting into New Japan. I remember, I forgot what site it was on. I was watching. I was really, really getting into it. And that match, I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck have I been missing over here? Like, that match was insanely good. And they went for an hour.
Pretty much.
For an hour.
Very random here. This is definitely not like I had, talk about the black box. My grandfather had the black box, used to record every pay-per-view, WCW, WWF. And we had, for some reason, I used to play on repeat. The 1991 Halloween Havoc was just on repeat, which was the year I was born. So obviously, like, it was something my grandfather had in his pile of VHS.
You would have been like a month old at that point, too.
Yes, exactly. And the first match on the card is the electric chair match.
That's the open?
That's the open.
Oh, I always thought that was the main event.
No, that was the open of the pay-per-view.
That's hilarious.
Abdullah the Butcher, Cactus Jack, Diamond Stud,
wild.
a.k.a. Scott Hall.
Yep.
Big Oz, a.k.a. Kevin Nash. Who else was in that? It's just an absurd match. Absurd match.
Yeah. There's no way that happened.
Electric chair match. They put a guy. Was it Abdullah the Butcher?
Abdullah the Butcher.
He ended up
It's
taking
the one where Cactus Jack's the one that flips the switch because he
but the
thinks
switch
somebody
keeps
else
breaking.
Yeah,
the switch just flops. So he's like, "Fuck!" Like the switch broke.
Yeah.
It was just.
That's classic.
It was a fucking mess.
That match is classic early WCW.
Oh,
that
so
definitely
good.
had, and shout out to him and also R.I.P. to him because we didn't cover Kevin Sullivan. That match.
Oh, that's right.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Sullivan booked that match.
Oh, I would be shocked if he didn't.
Booked that match.
That had his fingerprints all over it.
All over it.
Yep.
That was just such a these aren't 5-star bangers by any means.
No, but it's what you remember.
It's what you remember.
They're fun though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They're fun.
Remember.
Just all the old. That was our streaming platforms back then.
Yeah,
It was like,
VHS
yo, hopefully you had an OG that recorded something on VHS from the 80s. Because my mom, I'll never forget, filmed a home video over. I think it was SummerSlam '88 when the Mega Powers.
Yep,
that was 88 or 89.
89. No, 88 because it's Mania at 89.
Yeah, so the Mega Powers and
the first SummerSlam, 88.
Yeah, and I'll never forget it because it's literally at the end of the home movie is Hogan and Macho with fucking Miss Elizabeth, and that's so it's like all of our home movies, and then the very end of SummerSlam '88 because my mom recorded over it.
It's family now.
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
now
gone.
part of the
I don't know where the
family.
tape is now, to be honest, which is sad.
It was family for a while.
It was family for a while.
That's absolutely what you'd go to Blockbuster and rent that month's pay-per-view.
Yeah,
when it came
or
out.
you read it in WWF magazine,
or that. Yep.
That was like another vivid memory. Is like I remember going on vivid like it was yesterday, going into Blockbuster. Royal Rumble '92 with all of them on the
Oh my god!
Such
I remember seeing that on
cover.
the shelf. Like,
such a dope
poster
cover.
I think
is
that's
so
the best,
incredible.
Yes,
best Rumble.
Best
Oh,
Rumble
absolutely.
ever. And
It's
just
tear in
Rumble
my
in terms
eye.
of the names that were in that fucking Rumble.
So it's the best Rumble match. I don't think it's the best Rumble pay-per-view though. I do think
No,
they're a better
no,
overall
no,
show.
no,
But yeah, the actual
just
Rumble
the poster,
match.
the graphic.
Oh,
I think best Rumble graphic.
I think that poster might be best poster ever.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like forget Royal Rumble
Crazy.
poster, just poster in general. That might be the best poster ever. It's
and
so
also.
good.
Agreed. Still best Rumble ever. The actual Rumble match. Hogan somehow still kind of almost ruined it at the end.
Yes,
there.
because he has to be eliminated by full circle moment here. Sid.
And pulling come on.
Just let Flair eliminate you, man.
That's just it's so stupid.
It's bad enough you're not willing to work with him at Mania. Just let him fucking eliminate you.
He tried to ruin it. Thankfully, it was such a good Rumble, and then the classic Flair.
The Flair
promo afterwards
saves
with
the whole
Heenan,
thing.
and it's just fucking insane. Great trip down memory lane there.
But to answer,
I'm gonna think more about this favorite match.
To answer my own question that I asked, for me, it's Danielson versus Nigel from Ring of Honor Unified.
Where they slap the shit out of each other at the end, and I
where
saw
Nigel
that clip.
slams into the ring post, he just instantly starts bleeding.
Also, is that the one where at the end? And I saw a clip the other day, and it was someone posted it, like my favorite Ring of Honor match of all time, Nigel versus Daniel Bryan. It's the finishing sequence where they're slapping the shit out of each other, and then they headbutt each other, and McGuinness splits Daniel Bryan wide open, just off of the headbutt.
That match.
I was watching that the other day, and I hadn't saw that full match, and I was like, I need to go back and watch this full match.
It's a 5-star classic. I am somebody who loves technical aspects of wrestling, and that's the match that got me in. Like, I didn't really follow indie wrestling that much, and I heard about that match, so I checked it out, and ever since then, I've been hooked on it. So,
Yeah, I got to definitely watch it, especially now if we're going to get that feud.
Yeah.
And I'm more excited now because Nigel looked great.
He looked
And
incredible.
fucking Brian looked great. So, like,
Yeah.
yes, please give me that.
Yeah, and soon because Brian Danielson is probably going to need surgery soon.
Yeah,
like that man is also.
He also scared me last night. I thought he was going to
Yeah.
give the belt up last night. Like he almost he almost had me. So
There you go. I love that. It's a good question there, Flanaban.
Yeah,
I like that. A little impromptu.
We'll put that out to the viewers.
Yeah, by all means, hit us up. Let us know your favorite
WWE match. Yeah, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know.
There's some classics out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Plenty of
There's
classics.
so many we didn't even touch on.
Mine definitely stem mostly from
the whole
80s and
Flair
90s.
Steamboat rivalry of '89.
Yeah.
All three of those are fucking incredible.
There's definitely a Flair and Sting match that ranks up there too.
Yep.
Their Clash match is great. Flair and Sting's.
When Sting wins the belt, is that that one?
That's Bash at the Beach.
Bash at the Beach.
No,
yep.
not Bash at the
90,
Beach. Great American Bash.
Great American Bash.
90.
90. I think 90. Yeah. Yep. Where they lift them up.
Yeah. And it's
That's
Sting
another
Flair.
one.
Great match as well.
Classics.
Yeah.
Classics.
Fucking Flair. Even Flair. Speaking of Flair, because he's fucking always Flair. At the gimmick, like he sent out a tweet about Sid, and it was like, Sid, I want to send out, condolences to Sid. Even though in business we couldn't work together. Yeah, and I'm like, fucking always.
Everything he
Flair.
he just works himself into a shoot.
It's always a gimmick.
This was like maybe a month or so ago, but did you guys see ESPN put out the top 100 athletes of the 21st century? And Ric Flair was all pissed off that he wasn't listed in that.
That list
and it's
also
like, well,
was
two
shit.
things. It was,
That
but
list
also
was
it's like
shit,
two things. One, you're a pro wrestler, and that's probably not going to get picked based on the.
Even though a lot, yes.
Oh, also, you were the 20th century, Rick, not 21st century.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And
Don't
the
tell him
19th,
that.
Rick. And the 19th, Rick. You've been around a long fucking time, Rick.
Come on, didn't you see Ric Flair's last match?
Which
that was
one?
a classic.
Which one?
The most recent one, when he probably died 4 times on there. Yeah, his son-in-law.
There'll be another one.
Gave me emotions, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Fear, mostly. I was afraid he was about to die. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like all the stewardess on that plane.
Inside Out 2.